darkness of the blackest night, burning bright, there's a guiding star. No matter what or who you are. That's actually one of my favorite songs from Rocky Horror Picture Show in the entire musical. And it's funny because here's the thing with Rocky Horror Picture Show is the first 3 songs to me, I guess I'm taking that back because I'm immediately thinking of a bunch of songs that happen later on in the film. Honestly, I guess what I'm trying to say is every single song in Rocky Horror Picture Show is actually fantastic. But damn it, Janet. Do I think Ryan McCartan is an abusive person? Yeah. Like, one thing you gotta know about me, dude, is that Dove Cameron to me is really important, and I think she's underrated, and I think that she's actually a very interesting, powerful, good actress. And she's a good singer. And she's like an authentic, lived-in, grounded actress who lives in like fairy la la land as well. Like, she's so well-rounded, and she's been through so many different lives. And I think because of that, she's a very interesting person. And anything that she says, I'm like, I'm on your side. And also, like, she ended up with like a hot Italian guy. Like, she's doing completely fine, obviously. But if she says Ryan McCartan was shady to her, I'm like, girl, there's not even an ounce or a cell of me that doesn't believe you. Like, I believe you. He seems like a piece of fucking work. That being said, okay, he's a theater guy. Like, what? Like, of course he's a piece of fucking work. Most theater guys are. Like, what? And not that I've been around a lot of theater guys. I've just heard, this is just what I've heard from, a little birdie told me type of situation. But when he sang in the live action version of Rocky Horror Picture Show, which wasn't as bad as everyone said it was actually not that bad. He sings Damn It, Janet so well. He sings it so well, and I actually have his version recorded and downloaded on my phone, and I listen to it pretty regularly, pretty much on the reg. And his like open vibrato is perfect for the character. And I guess that's what's so annoying is like art versus artist. It's like Ryan McCartan seems like a dick in real life, but he makes really great character choices, and I'm like, Dove, I get why you fell in love with him. You know what I'm saying? And then that being said, Victoria Justice was a great choice, and she did a great job as Janet. And I also love that they put Laverne Cox in that role. I think, people, no one's ever going to like when you do renewals and revivals, which is honestly, I'm not someone that likes them particularly either. Like, they have to basically reinvent themselves in order for me to even like it. And for it to be completely something different. And that's why High School Musical, the series was actually really good, was because it completely reinvented itself. It's like if The Office was a Disney Channel show that took place in the high school where the High School Musical movie was filmed in Utah. Like, it's extremely meta, and it was extremely new, and that's why it kind of, like, broadcasted Disney Plus with this new show. And then, obviously, they hired, like, actual, genuine, really good talent, and then they put original music in the show, written by the talent, and then, obviously, not every song was written by the talent, but you know what I'm saying. For the most part, revivals aren't that good. I get it, okay? Hairspray Live, it had Ariana Grande in it, I had Jennifer Hudson in it. Like, it was one of those situations where, like, the cast was the reason I watched, but have I ever watched it again? No. Let me tell you something that's really important for you to know about me. I remember when Grease Live was on television. Me and my little sister recorded it because, girl, I have a bedtime. I can't be staying up late to watch Grease Live. So we recorded it on the television. I am not kidding you. When I watched it, I decided I didn't really decide. The decision was made for me. I said, this is the best thing. Like, this Grease Live has changed my life. This is the best thing I've ever seen. I swear to the universe and Mother Nature herself. I swear. I rewatched Grease Live, the full 3-hour recorded Grease Live, every single day for months, dude. And on top of that, I would listen to the soundtrack in my headphones, like to and from school on the bus. Not even kidding. And I really, like, I had fallen in love with Aaron Tveit already, so I was like, well, obviously I'm going to watch it. And then there was Vanessa Hudgens in it. Here's the thing with that musical, okay? Here's the secret to anyone ever. If you want to have anything that's going to be like, I don't know if this is going to be good, so I need to cast one person in it to save the whole fucking thing. Jordan Fisher is your fucking answer. Jordan Fisher comes into Do You Want to Build a Snowman? It's a good song because he's in it. Jordan Fisher comes in to take over the role of Hamilton after Lin-Manuel Miranda. Only one person can fucking fit in those shoes, and it's Jordan Fisher. And there is someone on TikTok right now literally making... There is someone on TikTok right now who is reposting Jordan Fisher TikToks from like when TikTok first started, like I think during the pandemic. And Jordan Fisher does not like it, and he has called this person a bored individual who is doing this. And I have to tell you, it is actually who's ever doing it. And Jordan Fisher, I want you to know I love you deeply and truly. Like, I'm not even fucking kidding around. I think you are one of the most talented artists we have in this fucking world right now, breathing and surviving, bitch. But the person who's doing that and has that TikTok account who's reposting all those videos, you are the funniest person in the world. And I really mean that. I really mean that. You are the funniest person in the world. And it's not even that the TikToks are funny. It's the fact that you're posting them and you won't stop posting them. It's just, that's the funniest thing in the world. And honestly, I know he obviously didn't like it because he called this person a bored individual and was like clearly frustrated. But that is why it's funny. Is because it's just like so, it's like someone posting like your Musical.lys. It's like, it's so over the top. It was so of the time. It was such a specific era of social media. And it was like these over exaggerated, over the top, over performative dances that we all did. I mean, I didn't do them, girl, but like y'all did them and I watched them and it was like what you were supposed to do. We all were like, you know what I mean? We all were doing the Musical.ly things. Like, I get it. But anyways, Jordan Fisher is in Grease Live. He sang a song called Those Magic Changes. In the actual movie, it's a throwaway fucking song. In the actual movie with like John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, that song is like in the background. In this adaptation of Grease Live, Jordan Fisher plays the song in like a transitional scene where Aaron Tveit's like running laps, and it is the most gorge effing song ever. And then let me tell you something else that you should do. If you are like, we're on a sinking ship and who's gonna save us? Keke Palmer. And I'm actually talking about Keke Palmer for real right now. Keke Palmer for real. I remember her being on True Jackson VP. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And if you don't think that I'm someone who loves True Jackson VP, you're wrong, because I actually do love it a lot. And not enough people talk about how good True Jackson VP was. The two sidekicks, or like her two friends or whatever, like the girl and the boy who were her friends, were so funny. They were such good side characters. And Keke Palmer, obviously. I think Keke Palmer, once again, is one of the greatest living performers that we have. Like, I trust her whenever she's on screen that she's going to take care of me as the viewer. I am not stressed out watching Keke Palmer, which is why I actually am starting a petition. And it's not like a petition that we're all going to sign, but it's this petition of like, we need to literally hunt down the people who are in charge of casting The Tonight Show and literally make Keke Palmer a late night talk show host. And I know what you're going to say, but Maya, no woman besides Lily Singh, actually that's not even true, but there's only been a handful of women who have taken over late night. And they really haven't even taken over because their shows get canceled and they don't get a fair shot. And I actually think what should happen is, look, everyone who hosts like a main cable Tonight Show, like Stephen Colbert, even though his show's about to end, but you know what I'm saying, like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers. Do I love them all? Sure. You know, they all seem like great, like, hospitable, normal, grounded, even though they have like the most successful show business job in the world. They all seem like they deserve the job. None of them don't deserve the job. And that's the thing that I feel like people don't understand about like these men who think that like women, like you can't be a feminist if you're a man. It's like, I actually think every single late night talk show host who's a straight white guy deserves to be there. They're all really funny and have had like, they deserve to be there. I get why they're there. It's because you feel comfortable with them, and they're like, they can get through like endurance level. They make you feel at home. Like, I think they deserve it. I also think it is completely like insane that a woman, or quite frankly like a person of color, like Trevor Noah did take over The Daily Show and he was incredible. And I know there's been like a few here and there, but once again, I'm talking about like the Fox Forest 5 or whatever, the fucking like podcast with the 5 late night talk show hosts who are all straight white men. That's what I'm talking about. Like, Andy Cohen and Graham Norton are actually my personal favorite late night talk show hosts, but for the most part, they're all straight white men. And Keke Palmer makes the audience feel comfortable. She feels like your best friend, and she also feels extremely wise, and she can get celebrities to feel like they're normal people. And she can sing, obviously. We've all seen Man in the Mirror from fucking Joyful Noise, which was a great movie. And Dolly Parton, Queen Latifah, Jeremy Jordan, and literally Keke Palmer in that movie. And it's actually a fantastic fucking movie that I've seen many, many times. And I don't even believe in God, and I'm not even religious. And I've seen that movie multiple times. And I think that goes to show how good that movie is. That movie is so good. And at the very end, dude, at the very end, once again, this Joyful Noise is like the religious version of Pitch Perfect. At the very end of the Joyful Noise, it's like Queen Latifah's like the blonde chick from Pitch Perfect. And Queen Latifah's like, we're going to do gospel music. We're going to do gospel music. And everyone else is like, no, we got to modernize it a little bit. We got to put like a pop song in there with a gospel twist, and we'll still feel the spirit. And Keke Palmer is singing Man in the Mirror. And it's like, if you want to see some stage presence, if you want your life to change, there's before Keke Palmer Man in the Mirror, and there's after Keke Palmer Man in the Mirror. And what she did with that song, I'm going to say something crazy, but I actually mean it. And I'm not shaking, I'm not quivering, I'm not stuttering. Keke Palmer's version of Man in the Mirror is my favorite version of Man in the Mirror. More than Michael Jackson's, dude. What she did with that song made me feel the spirit. It made me feel the gospel spirit. And I don't even believe in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? But I felt something. Like, that's crazy. She makes me believe in a higher power through that song. Like, I'm not playing around, dude. And so with Keke Palmer, at the very end, Jeremy Jordan, they're like singing a song and it's going good, and the very like Queen Latifah's conducting it, and like everyone's there, and it's like, okay, great. Then they all rip off their literally, dog. They all rip off their gospel gowns. I don't know what they're called. And then Jeremy Jordan starts literally doing the Egyptian dance move where he cocks his head and moves his hands like the Egyptian dance move. You know what I'm saying? And he goes, I go to church with my homies. What? Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, Loki. And you know how it is. Literally. And I was like, whoa. And there is a shot of a guy right after that song comes on. And it's this white guy, skinny, tall white guy in like wire glasses, like a nerdy ass white guy. And he literally throws his arms up. And he's like, oh, as soon as he hears that beat drop. And no, I had the exact same reaction, because that's how good that movie is. And it gives you a visceral, physical reaction. And the ending of like the Pitch Perfect medley is to the Joyful Noise ending as well. And you know what? There's also a part in that movie where Jeremy Jordan sings I'm in Love with the Stripper, an acoustic version on a piano. And if you think I've forgotten about that, I haven't, and I think about it a lot, actually. Speaking of Jeremy Jordan doing his rendition of, you know what is also interesting, actually? Jeremy Jordan did a version of Grow For Me from the Little Shop of Horrors, And he didn't record or upload or whatever the fuck on Apple Music or Spotify like any other song from Little Shop of Horrors. He only uploaded Grow For Me, and it's my favorite Grow For Me. And he just took over for Just in Time from Jonathan Groff and fucking what's his face from Glee. And Jeremy Jordan is like now recording that album for like you to listen to on Apple Music and Spotify, and it's so good. Jeremy Jordan, once again, you can count on him. You can always count on him to just deliver. He's going to deliver no matter what the assignment is. He's going to deliver it every single time with an A++, because he makes it his own. You know what I mean? My top 4 Letterboxd singers that are men that I can think of off the top of my head right now, because I haven't thought about it until right this second, are Gavin Creel, Avi. Okay, Avi. Joshua Henry, Avi. Probably Jeremy Jordan. I mean, I love Jeremy Jordan, and I really love Andrew Rannells. Like, I think he's actually underrated for how good he actually is. Like, I think he is just comedically, it is hard to, I don't know, I just think what he did with his role in the Book of Mormon was so perfect and timeless, and it's hard to make a timeless role, and he did. And I'm not talking about anyone from the past of theater. I'm literally talking about like people that are like relatively modern and current. But that's just like who I am in my life. And so if you're gonna judge me about my life, then like, okay, I'll judge you about yours too. And if I had more time to think about it, maybe I'd think about older people from theater, but I'm not. So those are my top 4. But I also want to talk about the Tonys. So honestly, why it's taking me so long to record this video is because I usually like to record when I'm feeling inspired, when I'm feeling excited, when I'm feeling enthusiastic. But actually today and like this entire week, I've been sick, and like a crazy level of sick of where like I'm actually throwing up. And like I hate throwing up. I've already talked about how I'm throwing up. I'm still throwing up. And I'm like, you're probably thinking, Maya, you should go to the doctor if you've been throwing up for literally a week and a half straight every single day, multiple times a day. And I'd say, you're probably right. You're probably right. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep on doing it, man. I'm just going to keep on having a stuffy nose and a sore throat and then keep on throwing up. And by the way, I've literally lost like 6 pounds. So what are you going to say about that, huh? What are you going to say about that? I look at the silver linings of life. It's also been hell, though. Anyways, I've been sick. I think the Tony nominations came out, and I'm not excited about anything besides the one guy from Chess who got nominated. He deserves to win a Tony for his role. I did see Chess, and I have to say he has a note that is the most impressive note I've ever heard live in my life. You guys have to understand, it's Tony Award winning worthy, and so he deserves a Tony. But besides him, I feel like all the nominations, I'm literally like, I don't feel very strongly about any of these. And have I seen most of them? No. I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't. But I'm also don't like revivals of musicals unless, once again, like I already said, they reinvent the entire thing. Most of these did not reinvent the entire thing. Most of these are just like pretty standard modern like revivals of old musicals. And it's just like, I don't know. I just don't. When Tony, once again, I don't think they don't deserve to be nominated because it's really hard to make all those people, like, it is a miracle that any Broadway show happens at all. So I'm like, it's not that I don't think you deserve it, but like last year, or like literally a year or two ago, we literally had Oh Mary, we had Audra McDonald, we had Sunset Boulevard. A couple years before that, we had School of Rock. And I do include School of Rock the musical in this list. Hamilton. Death Becomes Her. Like, we have had stacked categories for years and years and years. And of like, Noah, I know who's gonna win because this was like a trailblazer of a musical that like redefined musical theater forever. But a lot of these other people in other musicals also gave like really phenomenal performances that they deserved to be awarded for, and they weren't because it was such a tough year. And this year just does not feel like that to me. This year just feels like there is like, I don't know, there's nothing pops. There was nothing that popped for me. I'm just going to be honest, because there were so many revivals or the things that were brand new. I was like not super impressed by. But that being said, I don't want to speak too much on this because I did not see many of the musicals nominated. So honestly, don't even listen to my opinion. I didn't even see the material nominated, and I'm like dunking on it. But, you know, I've been to musicals that I didn't think I would like, and know what happened? I didn't end up liking them because I kind of already know, I know kind of at this point, like, what my taste is. And so I'm not going to personally watch, like, you know, fucking Jack Ryan films. That's not for me. That's not for me. I'm going to go watch, like, probably, I don't know, John Early's next film, Maddie's Secret. That's more me. You know what I'm saying? So, also, that trailer, oh my gosh. I could cry talking about how thankful I am that I am alive while John Early is alive and actively creating. Maddie's Secret, the trailer, literally, I've just like never been so elated to watch something in my life. Anything John Early's attached to, John Early is my favorite comedian. Okay? Like, he's my favorite ever. Anything he's attached to, I'm like, well, I'm already gonna love it because John Early's in it. And it's been true every single time. I just love him so much. And he has, I don't know if he directed it, but I know he definitely wrote it and then stars in the main role in Maddie's Secret. And it also has like a stacked cast once again. Like, we're talking about Caperland Avi. We're talking about Connor Malley, who's underrated as a comedic presence, and he's actually phenomenal. And I think that he's going to have his own show, and it's going to, once again, redefine comedy. I actually just watched as well James Franco's documentary of the 2008 SNL cast. And he basically just films like a week in the life of an SNL cast member or writer. And he just takes you through the entire week of how SNL is created. And it's a week where John Malkovich is hosting. And in it, it's the 2008 cast. So let me just throw out some real heavy hitters for you. It's Kristen Wiig. It's Fred Armisen. It's Bill Hader, which this documentary really made me understand. Like, Bill Hader is SNL. And that's going to sound crazy because Lorne Michaels is SNL. But what I mean by that is, like, Bill Hader in this documentary made me realize, like, I obviously knew he was extremely talented. He can do anything. He once again trusted on SNL. That's why he was there for so long, is because he can do anything, and he's always going to be funny and full and do it better than anyone else can do it every single time. You know what I mean? This documentary made me realize, like, oh, he's like a god. He's like an impressionist god. The way that he was able to just whip out a John Malkovich impression that was literally perfect right in front of John Malkovich's face. Like, can you do that? I can't do that. Who can do that? Bill Hader can do that. And he can do anything. And it was just insane to watch him. Anyways, Bill Hader's in there. Fred Armisen's in there, who I also believe is a true genius. And I think, like, the fact that everyone agrees with, like, who doesn't think Fred Armisen is a true genius? He's literally, like, a Mozart level, like, genuine Jesus Christ genius girl. In, like, a scary way. Like, it's literally almost scary that he's that much of a genius. You know what I mean? Also during this time was Seth Meyers and a lot of white people. There was also Andy Samberg and Lonely Island. So, like, literally one of the all-time great cast of SNL. You know, up there with maybe the best. Which I don't even want to say the best because I'm like, I don't even believe in there is a best. It's just like your personal taste. It's like Chris Farley, Adam Sandler, and fucking David Spade. Like, that's an all-time great cast. The first cast ever was an all-time great cast. I think the Bo and Yang years were a great cast. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like everyone's different and we don't have to compare and contrast. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. Anyways, this documentary really, I thought it was a great documentary. I thought it really humanized and it felt like you were actually there. And SNL seems like, as an outside person who's never been to SNL and has only watched it as a fan, it does seem kind of like this mysterious, intense experience to work there, but also like the most rewarding experience ever. But it seems relatively mysterious. This documentary really made it not mysterious and made it really clear of how everything works. And it was actually really eye-opening. I'm surprised I've never seen it. But also John Mulaney was on there as a writer. And also the girl from that movie Wine Trip with that Amy Poehler wrote and fucking directed. She was in that, and she was doing a bit about, like, which fart noise is the best, and it was, like, taken extremely seriously in the clip, and it was really fucking funny. But know what that documentary made me realize? It made me realize if it was a little late at night, Okay, I'm alone at a bar. Which has never happened to me. That's actually never happened to me one time. I've never gone alone to a bar at night. But if I were, and like Sade is playing in the background, I have a cocktail in my hand, I'm just like schmoozing. I'm just schmoozing. And then you're going to tell me fucking Seth Meyers 2008 level leadership role Seth Meyers comes in to this bar. I'm going to be head over heels in love. These men on this show, I'm not normally like a diehard Seth Meyers, John Mulaney. Like, I'm not like, oh, they're the most attractive beings in the world. After watching this documentary, I'm like, I know what it's like to have a work crush. Are you kidding me? What's my name? Maya Caress. I know what it's like to have a fucking work crush, girl. It's like why I work. If I were to work at SNL during this era, how do you not fall in love with all these men? All these men are just attractive enough that if you were working with them, it's like literally Jim and Pam from The Office. Like, I'm drooling over you. And you're funny, and you're tall, and you're like talented as hell. Are you kidding? And we could have better banter than anyone else in the whole world. What? Like, this fucking documentary really made me sympathize, really made me empathize with people who are like, no, you don't get it. Seth Meyers is the hottest man in the world. I'm like, I get why Jennifer Lawrence's only crushes are Larry David and Seth Meyers. I really get that. Weirdly, this James Franco documentary barely interviewed any of the women on the cast. Like, it only really interviewed all the male writers and staff. And like I said before, there were some heavy hitters. Kristen Wiig and Amy Poehler were on this cast. And Amy Poehler's not even in the documentary. So I'm like, it's clearly a pretty James Franco-esque perspective, and he's not even like showing the funny women on the cast who are like the funniest women of all time. It's like a missed opportunity, and it was like a once in a lifetime opportunity, and he like totally like misogynized it, but whatever, man. The Madison Beer Deluxe came out, and now she's on tour. Madison Beer. I love you, Madison Beer. And once again, people don't understand you, Madison Beer, but I understand you. And I actually think you are a gift to this earth. And I think people, know what's crazy is people are like, I'm a girl's girl, and then they don't like Madison Beer. Like, don't even talk to me, man. Don't even talk to me. If you claim to be a girl's girl and then you don't like Madison Beer, or you think that she's not a good artist or whatever, you're not. I can tell you that right now. Watch one interview with Madison Beer. Watch one interview. She is actually an authentic human being who's like, imagine you were the hottest person on earth. That's Madison Beer. Like, it's like the way that Madison Beer acts is the way that Megan Fox acts, which is like, they act as if they just so happen to be the hottest person of all time. And I don't take that lightly. I mean that deeply. Megan Fox is the hottest, most attractive person in the history of human beings. And Madison Beer is as well. Like, literally, she is. If a man were that attractive, they would be the biggest dick in the fucking world. But you know what? They're not even allowed to be dicks because everyone expects them to be a dick because they are so hot. And so they actually get met with a lot of hatred because people are jealous of how hot they are, and or they just underestimate them and their humanity. And so they end up actually being great people, as well as that makes them even hotter. Okay? And I have a feeling they're both, like, and I don't even have a feeling. I think it's fairly confirmed they're both, like, witchy, which also makes them hotter. That's the thing, is, like, if you think someone's the hottest person in the world, ultimately, the only thing that will make them even hotter than you think is their personality. And Megan Fox and Madison Beer both have stellar personalities. They both have stellar personalities. And Madison Beer really loves Bo Burnham. And I'm like, well, then, if Madison Beer likes Bo Burnham and I like Bo Burnham, then I like Madison Beer. It's a love triangle, girl. And know what? We should actually recreate challengers where I'm Zendaya. In every scenario, I'm Zendaya. Okay? I'm Zendaya. Madison Beer is... Let's make Madison Beer Josh O'Connor's character, and let's make Bo Burnham the blonde guy. And we're going to reenact the entire movie frame for frame. Okay. It's done. It's set. It's gonna happen. It's whatever. But yeah, her deluxe is good. I still think Silence Between Songs is my favorite album of hers. I just think that album is untouchable, unbeatable. I love that album so much. But I think Locket is like, I'm just happy that she's making what she wants. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about that album. Is ultimately, if she makes what she wants, and this is the same thing with Ariana Grande, and this is the same thing with almost all the artists. It's like, even though everyone hates Life of a Showgirl, and is that my least favorite album? I don't know. Honestly, when it comes to Taylor Swift, it's not that I have a least favorite album, or I only have favorite albums. And my favorite albums are Folklore. My favorite album is Folklore. And the rest of them, I'm like, I have 1 or 2 or 3 that I like from each album for the most part. But even her writing Life of a Showgirl, it's like, what do you want? Do you want artists to cater to you, or do you want artists to make what they want? You want artists to make what they want, because that's the most authentic thing that they could make. It's when artists do what they think the fans want and not what they actually authentically want to express, then that's when the art gets bad. And here's the thing about Meghan Trainor. Because Meghan Trainor has been receiving a lot of hate. I was a little girl, a chubby little girl, who literally loved Meghan Trainor so much. Like, listened to every single song on an album. And you know when you're a kid and you only listen to the radio with your parents, and you're sitting in the backseat in a car seat, and you're like, I don't even know, I can't even conceptualize an album. I just hear the hits. I'm not thinking about an artist and their like actual whole album. Meghan Trainor, and I'm not even kidding, was like the first person that I listened to their whole album that they wrote, and I listened to her first album, the whole thing, when I got like an iPod Touch. And that's crazy to say, but it's the truth. Like, Meghan Trainor, when she wrote All About That Bass, she was a ballsy, positive person that I thought was cool and hot and talented as a little girl who was chubby. It meant a lot to me. And she was talking about loving her body, and everyone, skinny or big or tall or short, or like every single person was singing I love my body, I love my body. So it gave me permission to sing I love my body too. It was huge. She was on the fucking Today Show, you know, like she was a sensation. And All About That Bass was a great music video, and she put like a black gay guy who loved to dance in it, and I was like, yes, you know what I mean? That being said, she actually is a great writer. I think the issue is that she is writing for fan service, which then comes off as she's coming off inauthentically, which then comes off as people don't actually like that. Which is why AI art doesn't really even concern me, to be honest with you. As someone who's like just a normal patron in society, it's like art really is only interesting and only like, it's literally only watchable and entertaining if it's authentic. The second art is like stupid, I'm uninterested in it. The second that art comes across as like fake or inauthentic in any way, I'm like, what the fuck? I don't care then. It's not interesting. It's not worth my time. And AI art is uninteresting, and it's lame, and it's inauthentic, and it's not real. So what's the fucking point of it? There is no point of it, so I don't want to watch it. Like, I'm not, just honestly. And when it comes to Meghan Trainor, it's like, well, Meghan, you built a career. It's like Lizzo becoming Tyra Banks. You built a career on saying, I'm not going to be a Barbie doll. And then you become a Barbie doll. You can no longer sing these body positive songs about having an ass when you don't have one anymore. And your entire fan base was, quite frankly, chubby little girls like me. Maybe you completely have abandoned your fans. You're coming across out of touch, and your art is inauthentic. What do you want me to say? Like, your fan base is gay men and women who are the most loyal fan base in the world, and they don't like you anymore. What does that say about you? And I know that that's mean, but I also think she has said bad things about teachers. She just has said very unpopular, out of touch things that are especially bad coming from a girl who's been rich and privileged for her entire life. You know what I mean? It's giving James Charles. And here's the thing about James Charles, and I don't even want to spend this much time talking about him because I deeply, deeply do not like him. I just wished that no one followed him anymore, and that he could like go with the wind and clock into McDonald's for like 80 hours a week and actually live a normal life, because that's how much I don't want him to have the platform he has. Like I don't even come on this pod to be like I hate people, but I really do not like him. And the second that he was like giving off a pedo vibe, I was like, oh, I don't like you anymore. You shouldn't be rich and famous. You don't deserve it. And you haven't earned it. And you're a bad person. Karma will get your ass. Now he's on the internet, literally bullying people who lose their jobs, who are desperate. And he's screaming at them in the most condescending, disgusting, like sitting on a gold tower pedestal self. And it's literally like, the only way for this shit to have any justice is for you to lose everything and be humbled. And literally someone reposted a video of of him literally crying, sobbing, because TikTok was gone for 16 hours and he didn't know if it was going to come back. And he was just like, it's just so sad because I built a platform and I'm scared. And so when he loses his job, it's serious. But when a normal person in society, the people who watch his videos so that he is rich and famous, those people lose their jobs and are desperate, he's like, yeah, you lost your job. Yeah, you lost your job. You're a loser. You're a loser who comes to like, it's worse than the way I'm acting right now. I'm not overacting. I'm underselling it. How bad he came across, how bad he responded to just a girl being like, hey, I just lost my job. Since you're so rich, do you mind giving me a couple bucks? Very normal. By the way, this has happened for the entirety of money. Poor people have asked rich people for help. And he's acting like it is a true moral failure to do that. And how dare we as poor, desperate people ever ask him, a rich, famous person, to be charitable for 5 seconds of his life and think of someone other than himself for 5 seconds of his life. So between the pedo thing, which was enough for moi to completely abandon him as someone that I watch, and I blocked him on TikTok, and I'm like literally not even interested in him in any way. I hope that he literally falls forever. And then watching this, I'm just like, wow, you can't get worse. It's actually crazy. You can't get worse, and you're the most unrootable, disgusting, morally inept, like unfunny person in the world. In the world. You're a privileged asshole, and like I don't think you deserve anything, and I friggin' hope that you like get physically hurt and mentally and emotionally stunted, because you already are. But whatever. That was a lot. That was a lot from me. Have you ever met a pedo in real life? I actually have. When I was 18 in France on a, I'm like, he's a privileged asshole, and then I'm literally, my next sentence is, when I was on a internship in France, but I went to France to teach at an unpaid internship, and I saved up for it all summer to teach English, and I was only there for 2 months. While I was there, I was at this, like, it was on the countryside, and it was, like, in a very tiny, it was at a summer camp, so it wasn't like it near society. It was literally like in like, it was like one building in the middle of nowhere. Anyways, one of the teachers was at the summer camp. He was like, I think he was like the theater teacher. And I remember I was 18. It was my first time out of the country. And I was so scared. I barely spoke French. I actually went as well because I minored in French, and I went to like grow my French, which I actually did, but whatever. Anyways, I remember we were teaching middle schoolers French at this summer camp, or English at the summer camp. I remember he made a joke sexualizing one of the 14-year-old girls, and I was and he was English, and the only other girl who was my age who I was working with was also English. And she was a lot as well. But nonetheless, she was like the only person who had even an ounce of humanity on that entire situation for me, and she was my lifeline. Even though she was like the most like shaky lifeline a person can have, it was the only thing I had, so I took it. But when he made that joke, she was the same age as me, and she was also English. She laughed. And I just didn't say anything. This goes back to this like passiveness that I hate about myself, which is why I'm like not proud of this, but it just takes you so off guard. I was literally in shock. I'm not proud of this. This is like a moment I look back on and I literally like want to like literally bang my head through a brick wall because I'm so mad at myself that I didn't say something. But he made that joke, she laughed, and I just stood there like not knowing what to do, in shock, like rationalizing it to myself, which makes me so disgusted with myself. But I was just like, oh, maybe in England this is their sense of humor. I know they have like a drier sense of humor, a British humor, so maybe it's like normal in England to make jokes about little girls, and in America it's like really disgusting and gross and pedophilic to do that and not cool. I don't know. There's not any other Americans around me. The only people that speak English are English, and everyone else speaks French and like can't understand what the three of us are saying because they only speak French. So then he was teaching, and we were like the summer camp counselors, so we would see him all the time. And once again, he would continually make jokes about sexualizing the 14 or 13-year-old girls at this summer camp. And it literally just feels like you're in the Twilight Zone. Every single time he did, it made me 20 times more uncomfortable. Because once again, I'm 18. This guy's like in his 40s or 50s. It's so gross, man. It's so gross. I just had never in my life truly. And since then, like until then and since then, which means the same thing, he was the only person I've ever met in my entire life who was so openly a pedophile. He was just completely like making a joke about finding a 14-year-old attractive. And he felt completely comfortable. And it felt like it was just him saying 2 + 2 is 4. Like it was the most normal thing in the world. And every single time, she genuinely thought it was funny every single time. My fucking girl I was a summer counselor with, she thought it was funny, and I was the only one there, which I already felt like a fucking why am I here? Like how am I here? Situation. And she would just laugh every single time, and I would just be like, I'm in the Twilight Zone. I'm in the Twilight Zone in a serious way. We ended up telling the people who hired us about him, and I don't think he ever worked there again. He only worked there for literally like the same amount of time I worked there, unfortunately, but also fortunately. And I don't think anything ever happened at the summer camp that I know of. And we did report him. Like, it did make us super uncomfortable once we started to talk about it a little bit more. And we did tell our bosses, and the bosses like fired him. But wow, there's just nothing like that experience. There is nothing like it. And it just like really was a lesson to me of like, don't be afraid to be the odd man out, which is such a simplification of what that experience was. But I was just so afraid to say something and for me to be like, oh, I'm just an American who doesn't understand, because it felt like so many moments of that trip, I was just an American who didn't understand the European way of life. And I feel like constantly on like multiple different aspects of that trip, I was like even something as simple as like dinner, like I go to a restaurant and it literally, I don't see the waiter for hours, was like, what the fuck? But if that felt so American, and because I was 18 and naive, it felt naive. I knew it would be ultra naive for me to say like the cliche American thing of like, why is this waiter taking so long? When I'm like, in America, girl, I can get in and get out of a restaurant in like 30 minutes if I'm by myself. In anywhere in Europe, it takes like multiple hours. And it was just like different. And so because everything was different, I like did not want to speak up and like say anything. so that it wasn't like obvious that I wasn't like, I was trying to fit in, right? That experience for me really made me realize like it's more important to say something than to fit in. And that's obviously such a simple, like, fucking, like, obviously, Maya, like, what the fuck? Like, you should learn that sooner in your life. And you're right. I was just, like, a sheltered high school, like, a sheltered person my whole life. But it just was, like, it doesn't matter if you're fucking talking to someone from England or France or fucking someone's lacy underpants. If someone makes a joke that is literally pedophilic, you make them feel uncomfortable. That you make them feel more uncomfortable than they just made you feel uncomfortable. Like, what? And that really taught me that. Of like, it is so much better to speak than to die. It is actually the only point of life, and this isn't true, but I'm going to say it anyways as if it is true. The only point of life is to speak. And if you die, because you know the quote from fucking the Timothy Chalamet movie, like, is it better to speak or to die? To choose to die means that you're choosing the opposite to live and of life, which means like it's the wrong choice. You always have to choose to speak, even if it's regrettable, even if there is like chaos or like some sort of not great outcome, you always must speak. And that applies to everything ever. It's like you always need to choose to do the action that you're trying to stop yourself from doing. You should always do that action. And that is just like literally not true. And like you could apply that to so many situations where that's not true. But it's true at the same time in the way that I'm intending it to be. Oscar Luth got voted out of Survivor this week. And I very, very quickly realized he was the only reason I was watching that show. Oh, man. You know what's the hardest part about Ozzy getting voted out of Survivor? The hardest part is that Ozzy doesn't let it go after the show. And he says in every interview how much him getting voted out haunts him. And it's like, but Ozzy, by you saying that, it haunts me as your fan. It's like, the fact that you can't look at this as like, you know what? Literally 90% of the show is pure luck at the draw. And 10% is like being able to read through people who are lying to you. He literally takes it as the biggest fucking failure of his life every time he doesn't win, and he's never won. And he's played like multiple times. And it's just like, baby, it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be. Like, girl, it's actually okay. You are a fan favorite. Like, girl, you are my favorite. I love you. I love you. And everyone who watches Survivor loves you. So you won. Like, what? Like, I understand there's one winner, but you won every single time. Since the moment you started on Survivor, you've won. So it's just like I'll give you an example. I was watching this TikTok of this girl who is being sung happy birthday to, and like she had a huge cake right in front of her with a bunch of candles in it. She was surrounded by her friends and family who were all saying happy birthday to her. And then before she even blows out the candles, as soon as they stop singing happy birthday to her, she says, wasn't this cake supposed to have powdered sugar on it? And everyone is so disappointed, and they're like, just blow out your candles and make a wish. Just enjoy the moment. Like, maybe it was, but it doesn't. So why focus on the one thing that's wrong? Focus on all the things that are great. And it's like, that's how I feel about Ozzy. It's like, Ozzy, you're good, girl. Like, you don't need to do that. I feel like I'm going to throw up. But yeah, Ozzy got voted out of Survivor. Literally, they had the auction, which like, yay, bring back the auction. The auction was fun to watch, and it was I was like so happy they did it. I love whenever they do an auction in Survivor. Like, literally watching supercuts of the auctions from past seasons of Survivor on YouTube makes me want to go back and rewatch the entire seasons of Survivor. That's how good the auctions are. And like, there's no downsides to the auctions. It's like extremely entertaining and watchable, and they get rewarded with food. Like, watching someone hungry eat is like a joy of life. Of course, you want to see people you love eat when they're hungry. Like, it's just like such a natural, like, primal joy to watch. So they brought that back, which I liked, but like I said earlier, there's not a lot of positive things to say about Survivor right now, because it's literally giving like Dubai chocolate Labubu levels of like this is a crock of shite and you have overdone it to the nth degree that it's actually unwatchable. Like, you have put so much plastic surgery on Survivor that I can't even see who the person underneath all the surgery was anymore, and you're a completely different person, and you can't even smile because you have so much plastic in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just this, like, it's not even Survivor anymore. It's like a Japanese game show. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just weird and wild and not even the show that it once was, which is why it's so successful, but whatever. Anyways, I did enjoy Devin's doing all those dances, of like that montage of him dancing. I thought that was so fun, so watchable. I love Devin's. I also saw clips of Oscar and Sari going to a Parvati drag show in Brooklyn. I thought that was the funnest thing ever. I love all three of them. Also, I didn't know Parvati was literally she's a straight up She's a straight up lesbo. And it's literally like, whoa, she's so hot. Like, she's always been the hottest person in the world and the hottest person ever on Survivor. But she, as a lesbian, I'm like, dude, you somehow got hotter. And I'm not even a lesbian. I'm straight. I've tried. But she was hotter. And I'm just like, man, that's just the truth. It's like, hot people think, oh, you're going to be your hottest when you're in your 20s. You're going to be the hottest when you're in your 20s or when you're a teenager. That's just simply not true, because the hottest people of all time, as they age, they only get hotter. And as a general rule, at this point, I think for the most part, that's true. It's like, yes, I get that, like, maybe people from the past, they looked their best when they were 23 or 24 or 25 or 26 or 27 or 28 or 29 or 30. And then, like, I don't know, something happens and they get uglier. But literally, the people that I think of who are older, I'm like, you have only gotten hotter with every year. Because usually what happens as you age is you become yourself more. And being cool, as Vince Vaughn said in an interview once, is like being self-actualized and being true to yourself, and then having like an awareness of your sexuality and feeling attractive and knowing you're attractive and why you're attractive, and being like at ease with the situation. And it's ultimately being cool is being confident, but not confident in like a fake way, confident in like a real way of like, I genuinely don't think what anyone else thinks of me, which is why people who try to be cool aren't cool. Even though I've seen so many people think that certain people who try to be cool are cool, and they're like, oh, this is the coolest girl in the world. But I'm like, actually, it's not the coolest girl in the world, because she's trying so hard to be cool. And actually, the coolest person in the world is the person who doesn't care at all about what anyone's thinking. And in like, I know maybe that's been said 1,000 times, but it's the truth. It's actually the truth. So I watched season 2 of Beef. Oh my God. If quality was a show, it would be Beef. Season 2 and season 1. Like, here's the thing. I don't like to compare art. I don't even like to say who's the best, who's the worst, this is good, this is bad, because art just is, just like gravity. Art just is. It was already made. You can't go back and change it. It just is, right? Beef, season 1, is quality, man. It's literally like, it's a fine delicacy of a show, okay? It is funny as all get out. The performances are once in a lifetime. The casting, the cinematography, the set design, the music, every single thing about this show is the ultimate version of what it could be. And the writing is impeccable, and it's shocking, and it's real, and it's everything that I could ever want in a show is Beef. Like, it's literally getting up there with maybe one of my favorite shows of all time, because I've only ever seen the first season, which I loved, but like my favorite shows of all time are like Pen 15, Atlanta, Rami, like those, Insecure, like those types of shows. Beef is literally getting up there as one of my favorites of all time after I just watched the second season. Okay. Let me tell you something. The main cast in this, and obviously everyone in the show is great, but I'm specific, like literally every single one of them in the show should win an Emmy for what they've done with this show, with what they've done with their character. Oh my gosh. Literally Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac really loves to choose projects where he plays like a person in a marriage who just hates the other person but actually deeply loves the other person. Like, he loves complicated marriage stories, and he's so fucking hot. And then he's also like such a kind of bad person in this. And then at the very end, there's a twist, and he fucking takes the cake, and he actually ends up being a good person. But he's kind of I would say he probably has the biggest character arc, because he's going from being like a straight up evil person who's done unforgivable, undoable things, ultimately to being like, okay, I think he's actually come onto the other side, and he's actually a good person, and regrets things he's done, and like wouldn't make those same choices, and there's like a genuine change in his character. He's so good in this role. That first scene, like, I'm not even kidding. The scene of the fight, which is the same thing with the first season, which is why I'm like, I hope they make 1,000 seasons of this show, and they won't, because that's not this type of show. But in the first season, where they do the scene with the car crash, like, the entire season is completely dependent on this road rage scene being like intense enough for the rest of the season to happen. And that's the same stakes with season 2, with the fight between Oscar Isaac and Carey Mulligan. Is this has to be an intense enough fight that people can blackmail each other over this scenario. And oh my god, Carey Mulligan, when she literally just goes, they're having a fight of all fights, right? Like, they are giving their fucking Emmy. They're winning their Emmys in the first scene of this show. Like, not even kidding. That's how good these fucking actors are. Oscar Isaac truly says something unforgivable and despicable, and then Carey Mulligan literally goes, "I hate you. I do. I hate you." And it's so real. And she says it like she's so serious and exhausted, and she is like finally getting stuff off her chest, and it's like cathartic for her to be like, I hate you. This person that she's married to, she really does. She really does hate him. Oh my god, Carey Mulligan. Has she won an Oscar yet? She probably has. If she hasn't, she will. She is just every role I'm like, Carey Mulligan, there's no one I love more than you, Carey Mulligan. Like, literally, her as Daisy, I've already talked about how much I think she was unbelievable in that role, and literally, like, I just think that's one of my favorite performances ever, is her as Daisy in The Great Gatsby. And then she does Promising Young Woman. Oh, it's so good. And then she does this in Beef, and I'm like, bitch, you are the gift that keeps on giving. You are the gift that keeps on giving, bitch. You are my genie. You are my Robin Williams genie. And every performance is just a wish that I'm making. Like, she is perfect. And she's such a good actress. And she's funny. And she can do the comedy. She can do the tragedy. She can do it all, bitch. And she looks beautiful and tasteful doing it every time. And then there's the younger couple, which is the chick who played Priscilla. So good. She's so good. And she plays a very annoying role, but she plays it well, and not... when I say annoying, the character's annoying, but the actress isn't. And that's, like, hard for someone like the audience to differentiate, but you can actually differentiate it of, like, I don't hate her as an actress because she's played an annoying part. Which, like, for example, like, Sydney Sweeney, obviously Sydney Sweeney is a bad person, and, like, I don't like her at all, but, like, even first season of her in White Lotus, like, ever since that season of White Lotus, I've literally haven't liked her, because I'm like, you aren't acting, like, I think you're just a really annoying person, and that's why you were cast in this role, is because you're like pulling a Ryan Reynolds, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not actually a character actress, you're just playing yourself in every role, and you're just naturally annoying and unlikable, so you do really well in this White Lotus part. And that's the same thing with Cassie. Even though Cassie is her most likable role because it's her most human role, it's also like, well, you're also... the reason you were cast in this role is because you're so unlikable, and this character needs to be unlikable. And that's the same thing with this character, except I actually love the actress who's playing a very annoying character. And this character in Beef is nowhere near the annoyingness level of anything Sydney Sweeney has ever performed in. Nonetheless, she's still annoying to watch because she's codependent and needy and spoiled and like not self-aware and like over the top and like over apologizes and stuff like that. But the actress is so good, and at the same time it's like you get her, and I don't know, there's something in the eyes, and this actually goes back to why Lizzie the Olsen, Elizabeth Olsen, this goes back to why she's the best actress of all time. It's because both these actresses, you can see it in their fucking eyes. They really deeply, utterly believe everything they're saying when they're acting. You can see it in their eyes. This is the truth. Okay? They aren't acting. This is real. Okay? They are really these people. They are really in the scenario, and they believe what they're saying is the fucking fact of the matter with every line that they deliver and everything they ever do. And it's just like, you are the best actress in the world, dude. And then finally, the younger guy who's Korean. He's so good in this role. And I already knew he was a good actor because obviously he was in Riverdale, which like, I don't really have a lot of comments about that, but like, you know what I'm saying. He's from Riverdale. What do you expect? And then he was in that movie with Natalie Portman where he played like the guy who was a kid who married his adult teacher, and like it was like 20 years later and he was still married to her and had kids with her, and like was going through all these intense emotions when his kids were graduating because he never got a childhood because he like was molested and sexually abused by this woman so much that he believed that they were in love. And he's like a real fucking actor, dog. And even though he's hot and tall, he's really like a fucking deeply fucking real actor. And that's how he is in this show. Is he's like actually real, and he plays a bit of a ditzy guy, but he's extremely likable, and he probably at the end comes across as like the most complicated character at the very end of the show, because he kind of makes a decision that you kind of are like, I personally didn't want him to stay with her, but he does stay with her and has kids with her. And I'm like, interesting. So he ends up being quite a complicated character, and he makes decisions that like you as the audience probably don't want him to make, but he makes them anyways, even though he's expressed how much he doesn't want to make that decision. And like, you're like, then don't make that decision, but he does. And he does his comedy bits so well. He does his dramatic bits so well. He's just such a good actor. And then also the fucking Korean girl who's like a billionaire psychopath. She's so fucking good in this too. And so is the guy. And like everyone in it. It's just like, I cannot express enough and overemphasize enough how good this show is. How much I recommend this show. It is just like, it just hits on every single level. It's funny. It's real. I've never seen anything like it. It will change your life. It is the best acting and writing you will see this year and this decade. Like, it's just so terrific, and it's easy. Like I said, within the first scene, you're looking at people who literally deserve Emmys because of how good, like, it locks you in right away. It's easy to watch. It's only 8 episodes. It is engaging. It is nuanced. It is like talking about deep philosophical truths, and like has like flawed characters that you still love, and like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And I really, really enjoyed it, and I just cannot wait to see what they do. And I honestly might rewatch the first season, and I'm not even someone that rewatches shows, but I literally might rewatch the first season because this season was so good, and I'm reminded of how good this show is, man. But yeah, I literally feel like I'm gonna throw up. Not even kidding. But I love you. Hey, do you know that I love you? And yeah, bye.